Hello and welcome to our English news coming to you live from Canal, Algérie. First, the top stories of the news. Major achievements made in the mining sector to spearhead global development throughout the country and reduce dependency on hydrocarbons. Giant strides for the Sahara cause during 2024, consolidating its position and undermining Morocco's allegations regarding its sovereignty over Western Sahara. And Kamal Adwan Hospital raided by the Zionist army, worsening the situation of the health sector in Gaza, seriously affected over the past few months. Welcome back. First in our news, considered as the backbone of the national economic relaunch, the mining sector has witnessed a great dynamic activity during 2024, with several projects devoted to the production of raw materials that will further help reduce the import bill and beef up export operations outside hydrocarbons. Melissa Kabesh tells us more.
The partnership agreement signed between the two national companies, Sonatrach and Sonarim, has finally been implemented on the ground, as the project related to the valorization of phosphate took its first step with the aim of developing the strategic resource, and this thanks to Algerian competences.
It's a promising start and a positive one on the economic plan, with the launching of local transformation of Algerian phosphate and the creation of an industrial pole for mines in the provinces of Tbissa, Souqahras, Galma and Annaba.
The country is witnessing several strategic projects in different provinces related to the field of mines, notably the mining line located in the east, which extends over a distance of 422 kilometers, created to reinforce the infrastructure that works to develop the project of phosphate integration. Moving on to the west of the country, where the work rate of mining line linking Bashar, Tindouf and Gharaj Bilat over a distance of 950 kilometers is advancing with a speedy pace. This project is essentially a linking point between the railway and the industrial transformation sites. Regarding other raw materials, several plants meet the national market's needs, namely the factory of Ain Barbar in Annaba, which meets the national market's needs in terms of ceramic and glass, knowing that it will soon move towards exportation. In Tlemcen province, the plant for bentonite production constitutes an important factor in the drilling of oil wells and the civil engineering works, which reinforces the country's industrial capacity. Calcium carbonate is a raw material used in different transformation industry. The Mascara plant devoted to this material is well known for its quality and considered as the world's largest reserve of zinc and lead. The Tala Hamza deposit in Bijaya province aims at creating factories to supply the plant of Ghazawat and export its surplus.
An agreement has been signed to create a mine of zinc and lead in the municipalities of Tala Hamza and Wada Mizor. This deal will also include the creation of a processing plant.
بين كل من الشركة المختلطة WMZ ويسترن ميديترانيان زنك اللي أصبح الاسم تاعها درك بجاية للزنك والرصاص.
We've stopped importing. The year 2024 was marked by the diversification of exports outside hydrocarbons. Thanks to phosphate and zinc, other promising projects are planned for the year 2025.
Through these strategic projects, the mine sector will become a fundamental pole in the economic transformation, which will for sure reduce dependency on hydrocarbons.
A booming and promising sector indeed, an historic event now. It has been 46 years since the death of Algeria's second president, Mohamed Bukhari, known as Houari Boumediene, an iconic figure that marked Algeria's modern history and will remain engraved in the collective memory of the Algerian people. Details with Melissa Kabash.
Houari Boumediene, a charismatic leader who marked an entire era by his positions, thoughts and vision for a modern Algeria. Born on August 23, 1932 in Galma province, the late was imbued with religious education at an early age before moving towards higher institutions such as the Azhar University in Cairo. His educational career allowed him to embrace a political vision and encouraged him to join the ranks of the National Liberation Front in 1954, reiterating his commitment towards his country's cause. Among the FLN, Boumediene stood out through his discipline, his will, and his strategic intelligence. 11 years later, in 1965, the late Houari Boumediene became president of the Algerian Republic. As mentioned before, his era was marked by profound reforms such as the nationalization of hydrocarbons, the creation of heavy industries, and the establishment of giant plants in the fields of energy and oil. On the international scene, the late Algerian president was well known for his unwavering positions towards fair causes such as the Palestinian cause and the rights of oppressed people, in addition to defending the principles of the non-aligned movement. December 27, 1978, Houari Boumediene passed away after being diagnosed with a rare disease. A shocking news for the Algerian people, as this iconic figure marked Algeria's history and till this day remains a symbol of hope to remember.
Let's shift now to the international news. The usual scenes in Morocco as the oppressive regime continues to ignore the demands of its people, who categorically refuse normalization with the Zionist entity and call for improving their living conditions. Tonight we focus on the health sector with Laetitia Sadqawi.
The situation of Moroccans is deteriorating by the day. Lacking the most basic living conditions, citizens of all segments are taken to the streets to demand their rights. This time, it's the turn of the health sector, now paralyzed by a wave of protests by doctors refusing two controversial bills, one on strikes and the second relating to retirement, depriving them of their fundamental rights while upholding oppressive practices, leading to blocked hospitals and leaving the population even more vulnerable.
We are here to express our discontent. It is outrageous to deprive the public sector of its rights all of a sudden. We categorically reject any dialogue before getting our basic rights as health professionals.
The Makhzen refuses any discussion despite the peaceful protests, turning yet again a blind eye to one of the most important segments of the society, but instead further infuriating its citizens by continuing the normalization with the Zionist entity against the will of their people. Moroccan citizens are left to their own account while their government continues to prioritize foreign agenda at their expense.
Still in Morocco, where the Makhzen regime continues its oppressive policy to stifle human rights activists such as the head of the Moroccan Human Rights Association, Aziz Ghali, symbolizing a staunch struggle for freedom of speech and human rights in general. More details with Melissa Lila Balaman.
The position of the Moroccan Human Rights Association is clear. We are in favor of the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination in line with the successive resolutions of the UN Security Council. We support the principles of self-determination.
شنو هو انت في نظرك الحل
خصهم يوصلوا ليه في التفاوض شنو غادي يعطيو حنا ما كنتفاوضوا سميتو واحد حنا موقفنا هو موقف الامم المتحده.
In Morocco, defending the rights of the Sahrawi people remains a red line that very few dare to cross. Yet Aziz Ghali did it. At the head of the Moroccan Human Rights Association, he broke this taboo by taking a critical look at the situation in the occupied Sahrawi territory, a position that jolted the Makhzen regime. In a press release made public, the association stepped up denouncing the virulent attacks targeting Aziz Ghali, who simply expressed the association's position in regards to the Sahrawi cause while refusing to subordinate human rights to political considerations. In the same wake, the Moroccan journalist Jawad al-Hamidi was arrested because of his position in favor of the self-determination of the Sahrawi people. The case of Jawad al-Hamidi is different. He is one of the rare Moroccan journalists who recognize the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination. He wrote very disturbing articles about the Makhzen regime. This is the essential cause of his abduction. Suffice to say, the obstacle calls the freedom of expression and violations of human rights continue in Morocco. After sinking into the quagmire of the normalization with the Zionist entity, the Makhzen regime is targeting human rights activists, increasing repressive practices to stifle free voices that oppose its expansionist policy.
Melissa Balaman reporting on the human rights in Morocco. As we approach the end of the 2024, let's hark back to the main breakthroughs of the Sahara issue on many fronts, notably the favourable ruling of the Court of Justice, refuting thereby the allegations of the Moroccan sovereignty over the Sahrawi territories. Lydia Sidqawi once again.
2024 can be qualified as a victorious year for the Sahrawi cause on many levels. The EU's Court of Justice invalidated two legal trade agreements between Morocco and the EU, thereby confirming the distinct and separate status of Western Sahara, a decision that reinforces the role of the Polisario Front as the legitimate representative of the Sahrawi people and establishes a judicial framework for the European Union, undermining thereby the economic values of the Moroccan occupation. Businesses operating in the Sahrawi-occupied territories are now under pressure. The Polisario Front has threatened to take legal actions to ensure the respect of international decisions. The EU Court of Justice has deprived Morocco of essential economic means to maintain its occupation, a move held as a major milestone in the Sahrawi judicial fight. On the international level, during the year 2024, Western Sahara consolidated its status as a territory to decolonize. The UN General Assembly reaffirmed the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination, despite Moroccan attempts to reverse so, a decision that now maintains the Sahrawi issue on the agenda, confirming its importance in the international arena. Obi Bouchraya, one of the main Sahrawi diplomats who fought hard this year for the legitimate rights, praised the progress made, underlining the crucial role of the UN resolutions in the legitimacy of their right. Indeed, the Sahrawi cause has made strides on many grounds, notably the judicial and diplomatic ones, increasing their hope to achieve the legitimate right to self-determination.
You're still watching Canal Algérie, coming up soon in our news. Tonga Lake in Al-Qala, humid zone of world interest given it the rare species of migrant birds coming from the American continent. Welcome back to our news. The permanent representative of Algeria to the United Nations, Ammar Benjama, said on behalf of the A+3 group that the authorization of an African peacekeeping mission in Somalia would consolidate peace and security in this country. Let's have a listen to him.
Today's resolution marks an important milestone in Somalia's pathway in consolidating state building and stability. We are confident that the deployment of the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission, AUSOM, will be a clear added value in the security landscape and a crucial support for the efforts deployed by the federal government of Somalia.
Ammar Benjama speaking at the UN Security Council. From Somalia to Palestine now. Kamal Adwan, the last remaining hospital in North Gaza, has been raided and cleared of staff and patients by the Zionist army. The Palestinian health minister indicated that contact has been lost with the hospital and reported a large fire spreading through several of its departments. This comes after at least 15 people were killed, including 5 medical staff, in an airstrike on a building near the hospital. In the meantime, at least 15 people were killed in an attack in Gaza city's Sheikh Radwan. Sports now. CL Belouizdad regained confidence after the setback sustained versus the Egyptian side of Al Ahly in the African Champions League. CLB defeated Olympic Kabul with 1-0 as part of the National Football Championship. CS Constantine was defeated by the home team of GS Sahara with 2-0, while US Biskra tied with ES City a goalless draw.
يطلب الكرة على الجهة اليمنى. توسطو قتال أسامة يوزع، لكن خضري عادت للمتابعة. رياضية قادمة بحول الله. السلام على الجميع.
Thrilling games indeed. Let's now head to the eastern town of Al-Qala to admire the beauty of the Tonga Lake, located at the heart of the national park. This lake is a humid zone of world interest, given the rare species of migrant birds coming from the American continent. More details with both Raouf Hamouche and Melissa Leila Balaman.
With a large biodiversity and sites protected by the Ramsar, this park has made it to worldwide stardom, coming to a lot of Sharmark's visitors who would fail to forget its enchanting arboretum or its famous Lake Tonga. A very safe and beautiful place for families and friends to gather and have a good time.
There are many natural species here, such as ash elms. We also have artificial plantations like the plot of cypress, which comes from Louisiana, whose plantations date back to 1120. We can safely promote it as an important site for tourism because it is sustainable. Lake Tonga is home to more than 40,000 birds each year, made up of several families, particularly to Antea and diving ducks. We have 30 kilometers of the surroundings of the lake dedicated for tourism, whether for hikers, motorbikers or equestrian clubs. This is the house of our late President Shedli Benjdid, who came here for hunting and relaxation.
Its abundant natural resources and large biodiversity makes the Park of Al-Qala a jewel of the Mediterranean basin, heaven on earth for migrant birds and a deposit of 3 ecosystems: marine, lacustrine and forest.
With Tonga Lake, we come to the end of our news bulletin. Tomorrow, another day of the news. Keep watching our channel. Take care and bye-bye for now.